Oh. There. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the next module in the Itachi Uchiha course. Man, this has been probably, I would say, top 3 most requested videos ever of all time for my brand, my channel, which is the video of emotional alchemy, or in MK Brad terms, transmuting emotions. Like, this is, everyone wants this video. Um, and the reason why I haven't put it out on YouTube is because I want to do it right. Like, this is not, this is not a light, easygoing type of topic. This is a very in-depth, powerful, valuable, like, you have to take a deep dive into this concept. And even this video is not going to do it justice. And we're gonna take a deep dive into it, but even this is not going to do it justice. Um, in terms of like understanding how deep and how powerful this actually is. But nonetheless, so that's the reason I haven't put it on YouTube. But nonetheless, it's like, hey, why not give this powerful information to my Patreon kings, right? If I'm gonna give powerful information to anybody, it has to be the Patreon kings. So just like everything else, it would be coming to Patreon first, and here we go. Here it is. But yeah, transmuting emotions has been uh at least top 2, top 3 most requested videos of all time. And I've had fun making, the notes and the slides for this, and just kind of refreshing even myself on this concept and these ideas that we're going to be going through, and just getting a refreshment as to how powerful this stuff actually is. So with that being said, once again, please make sure you apply the information, because this is what the Patreon is for. Like, this type of video right here is like, it literally has the power to change your life. Actually, it's like, bro, especially if you're gonna pay money, like, take it even more seriously, right? It's like, this is not just for entertainment, it's not just for games. Like, we are here to change our lives. But anyways, so with transmuting emotions, Itachi's our mascot, but in this specific topic, we're not going to be doing, at least in this specific video, we're not going to be doing a deep dive into Itachi's personal life. We're not going to be going into contexts or scenarios with Itachi in it. I'm really just going to focus on giving you a deep dive into transmuting emotions itself, what it is, how to apply it, how do we make it practical in our own lives, how do we use it in day-to-day real life scenarios. Okay, so Itachi's going to be our mascot. Itachi's going to be in the background, but I want to give a deep dive into the actual information and practicality of transmuting emotions. Okay, so I'm excited. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Transmuting emotions. So what is transmuting emotions? What is emotional transmutation? What is emotional alchemy? I don't have a specific definition for it, so to speak. But just off rip, it's like this. Emotional alchemy is your ability to control your emotions on a whim. It's your ability to create whatever emotional vibration you want off rip. It's your ability to literally stir up any vibrational state that you want, because your life is controlled by your emotions, right? So emotional transmutation is the ability to take emotions and to funnel it the way you want. I mean, you got to look at it like this. Most people, and no, everybody actually, every human being is living the majority of their life subconsciously. That's why we have the subconscious brain, because it's impossible for us to constantly be conscious of every single small thing that we're doing. So we have a subconscious brain. Now, because of this, we're not aware of 90% of the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. And one of those things is emotions. Emotions we are never conscious of. And also, we're conditioned and programmed not to be conscious of them. So 90% of our lives, we're not even aware of where our emotions are coming from, why they're even happening. We're not even conscious of the emotion when it's happening. So when you're crying, or when you're angry, or when you're pissed off, or when you're happy, you're not even conscious of, oh, hey, I'm feeling happy. No, you're so subconsciously living your life, you just feel happy or you just feel sad, but you never stop and become aware of, like, oh my god, I have this vibrational state of happiness right now. Where did this come from? Where did this stem from? Like, you're not conscious of those things, right? And why be conscious of those things? I'm going to talk about that later. but it's never really a conscious choice from anybody to notice their emotions. It's just something that is subconsciously a part of our life. But once again, to answer that question, the foundational question of what is emotional transmutation, once again, it's your ability to take your emotions, to take your vibrational state and transmute it or direct it wherever you want consciously. You're making a conscious choice to use your emotions um, in your own direct will, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's just go even deeper. Now, before we even get started with like, the power of emotional transmutation and how to use it, first we got to talk about this. And don't even hit me with the, oh, this is woo. No, this is scientific. No, like, it's just objective fact. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. My hands are energy. My body's energy. This headband, this shirt, this microphone, right? It's all energy. Your energy, I'm energy. Everything is energy. Everything is vibration. Like, we live in a vibrational universe, right? So when you speak, that is your vocal cords, which is vibration, right? All your organs, they're pumping blood, or they're filtering things. That requires vibration. That requires energy, right? Where everything is mass, everything is made out of atoms, which is energy, right? When a scientist takes his super telescope and zones in on atoms or whatever, molecules, they're all vibrating. They're never still. They're all vibrating. This is a vibrational universe. That's just how God, Allah, whatever you want to call it, created it, right? So that's number one. You just got to understand that everything is energy. How does this tie in with emotions? It ties in with emotions like this, because when you feel an emotion, what's happening inside of your body, right? Well, why are you feeling emotions? What's happening when you feel angry? There is a vibrational state happening in your stomach. When you feel happy, there's a vibrational state happening in your body, which causes you to feel a specific emotion, right? So different emotions are just different vibrational states, okay? But first, you got to realize everything is energy, or you're not even going to be able to understand like where emotions come from, why do they exist, and how do we even use it, right? If you don't know exactly what you're dealing with, then you're not going to be able to efficiently know how to use it properly. Everything is energy. All right. So this is where we got to turn on the shotguns, right? So it's like you got to turn on your awareness. You got to turn on your awareness. What are emotions? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Like turn on your awareness for a quick second and just ask yourself the questions that society's not going to ask you, right? Ask yourself the questions that your parents are not going to ask you. What are emotions? Why do emotions even exist? Where did they come from, right? What constitutes the creation of emotions? Realize how you've never asked yourself these questions ever once in your life. And once again, this goes right back to what I was just talking about. We're constantly living our lives subconscious mode, zombified, asleep, no awareness. All the powerful things that are right in front of us, right underneath our noses, right? The power in this video and transmuting emotions, you've always had it. Every human being has always had it and will never lose it. But the reason why I discovered it and I haven't heard anyone else talk about emotional alchemy or transmuting emotions is because I tried to train myself throughout my life to ask questions, to look a little bit deeper, right? To just become aware of all the little subtle things that are happening on a day-to-day basis, right? But realize, once again, you've never asked yourself the questions, what are emotions? Where do they come from? Why do emotions even exist? Well, that's a really good question. Why do emotions exist? Ask yourself that right now. Why does the emotion happiness exist? And where did it come from? Who made that? Why does anger exist? How does it happen? Like, where did it come from? You see all these little things that are happening but here's the thing, the reason why most people don't ask these type of questions is because they feel like it doesn't matter. They feel like, well, what's the point? Why MK Brown would I ask myself those questions? Like, what could I possibly gain from those questions? You gain understanding, and when you gain understanding to something, then you can start testing out things, right? When you gain more information about something, you can start to test out things. Well, if I know how this works, then what happens if I take out that and replace it with this? You want to become like a scientist. You want to think like a not a scientist, but like a scientist. You want to think like someone who experiments, right? Like an inventor, right? You want to think like an innovator and an inventor, right? When Einstein was doing all his experiments, he had to ask questions first. He had to gain information about something, and then you go, okay, well, if that's the law or if that's the formula, what happens if I take this part of the formula out and replace it with this part of something? Then you get a whole brand new formula, and you discover something new. And that's basically what I did with this concept of transmuting emotions. Growing up, I just asked myself questions, and eventually I reached a point where I'm like, okay, well, what are emotions? Where do they come from? Where do they stem from? What constitutes the creation of emotions? Then I figured out the answers to that, and I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, let me take this out of this formula, right? In the formula of emotions, let me take this part of the formula equation out and replace it with this. And then I discovered, oh, with all this information and experimentation, I can actually control my vibrational state on will, on command, just like controlling my body movements, just like controlling walking, just like controlling my words when I talk, right? But that only comes from turning on your awareness and being willing to ask the questions no one else is going to ask. Don't feel like you're a weirdo or you're some sort of psycho because you go a little bit deeper. No, that actually makes you special, right? Society has trained you to think that asking questions that all your friends aren't going to ask, or your parents or your family's not going to ask, or your teacher's not going to. Society's training you to think that if you think outside the box and you're a weirdo and you're not, like, bro, who cares? Everybody in society is not where you want to be if you want to be your highest version. The majority of people are losers. The majority of people have not created a dent in the universe, right? The majority of people have not done anything significant, and their names will never live forever. So why would you want to think like them? Why would you want to ask the same questions they ask? Why would you want to operate like them? You see what I'm saying? I don't mean to go on a rant about awareness, but it has to be spoken about, because that's how you start to discover deeper things. That's how you start to discover your hidden powers. Okay? So back to emotions, right? So just become aware once again how you've never asked yourself, what are emotions truly and genuinely? Why do they even exist? Like, where do they actually come from? What actually makes emotions happen? Why do I have to feel them? Okay? So I'm not going to give you the answers to those questions. I want you to actually turn on your awareness and train your awareness by going out and getting the answers for yourself. But those are some really cool questions, some beginner questions you can ask when looking or taking a deeper dive into emotions. Okay. Now, so I'm not going to give you the answers to these previous questions, but one basic thing we can understand that I will give you is you will, as you start to answer the questions for yourself and go out and take a deep dive into emotion, like really sit down, like take 20 minutes after this lesson, this module, take like 20 minutes and just think about emotions. Where do they come from? What makes them? Why do they exist? Right? And what you're going to notice is this, this is kind of like a little blueprint you're going to notice, which is the cause and effect. You're going to notice the cause and effect between actions and feelings. You're going to notice the cause and effects between your behaviors and your emotions, right? You're gonna come to see that emotions constitute your actions. The reason why you take specific actions on certain things is because you have an emotional vibrational state of that thing, which comes from your perceptions, right? So this is a really good just like little diagram that I found, right? And think of it like a wheel, right? It doesn't stop, it keeps going. Like they all play into one another. It all starts with your thoughts. Your thoughts your thoughts or perceptions or your visualizations, I call it the mind's eye, right? Because your mind, it's not just your thoughts, right? It's your mind's eye, which includes thoughts, which are audible, images, visualization, right? It constitutes those two things. So your mind's eye is your you could say third eye, or you could say your spiritual body. That pushes your perceptions, which creates your feelings, right? Whenever you think something or imagine something, you place a perception on that, which creates an emotional state or feelings. When you feel something, that happens in your body, right? That emotional vibrational state happens in your body. You feel it, right? Why it's called feelings, because you feel a change of emotional vibration. You feel a vibrational state in your body, and then that determines the actions that you're going to take in order to express or disperse that energy, right? So once again, in more simpler terms, you think something. When you think something, you place a label or perception on it. Depending on which perception or label you placed on a thought, you will cause a vibrational state. That vibrational state will then cause you to take a specific action to disperse that energy, right? Because energy is always moving, right? It's never created nor destroyed. It always has to be moving. So when you think or visualize something, you have an emotional state, emotional vibration in your body that can't sit there. It has to get expressed somehow, right? So, like, for example, when you feel fear, what happens? That buildup of vibration in your body is happening. You have to get rid of it somehow. So what do? Your body starts shaking, right? Your body tenses, you run, you're scared, you scream, you yell, you're in fear, right? You're doing actions to disperse that vibrational state, right? When something's funny, right? There's a buildup of a vibrational state and you have to disperse it, so you laugh. See? All these things play into one another. Once again, I'm turning on your awareness again. I'm not telling you anything brand new. I'm telling you what everyone's doing. You're just not aware of it, right? You just never look at it because you don't ask questions enough, because you're in a matrix, you're a zombie, you're asleep. But all these things are happening subconsciously. I'm just making you conscious of it, right? Once again, thoughts play into your feelings, which play into your actions. So actions are literally the dispersing of a vibrational state. That's what actions are. And that's why you need to notice the cause and effect between feelings and behavior. Your feelings literally cause you to take action. And you take action because of your feelings, your vibrational state. Energy has to get dispersed, right? I don't know what happens. I haven't looked into it. What happens when you contain too much energy? Well, what happens is you start to become depressed. I mean, that's what depression is, really. That's what anxiety is. All the negative emotions, the negative mental states that happen, like depression, anxiety, that comes when you're suppressing energy instead of dispersing it, right? So, for example, when you feel anxious about an event, is because you're thinking something, you place a perception on it. That perception is probably a false perception, right? Oh, somebody's, let's say it's talking to girls, right? You place a perception on the thought of talking to girls. Your perception is talking to girls is scary. So you have a vibrational state that all that energy is being built up. You want to go talk to her, but you're suppressing yourself. And so because of that, the behavior is anxiety, because you're suppressing the energy. You're not dispersing it. You're keeping all the vibrations in your body instead of getting it out. You get it out by going to take action, right? Going up to her, talking to her, letting her know, hey, I think you're cute, whatever. You're dispersing the energy. What most guys do is they suppress it. And that's why you feel things like anxiety, right? And then other things like depression or bipolarism or things like that is when you're suppressing a vibrational state instead of dispersing it, okay? So you need to know the reason why I want you guys to take a little deep dive in your own life into emotions and question and ask questions is so you learn the cause and effect between the two. You need to know the cause and effect of emotions, how emotions and behavior are linked. Okay, and it's really not that hard. It's just something you'll get over time as you take a deep dive. All right. So that was the boring part. Okay, that was all the little theory about emotions, but we had to really talk about that, or we're not going to be able to understand this next part. But before we make the transition into how to actually use emotional alchemy, how to actually transmute our emotions practically, how to actually use it in real life, we need to talk about why transmuting emotions are significant. Like, what's the importance of it, and why am I even making this module? Like, what's the power in it? Well, one, awareness and emotional drive. So, like we just stated, when you place a perception on something, you cause a vibrational state in your body, right? Now, what most people do is they have a vibrational state in their body, but they rather suppress it, like we just talked about, and that's where you get things like anxiety, depression, yada yada. So you rather suppress it, or some people express it, but they do it without maturity, right? Some people express their emotions too fast. They express their emotions in the wrong context, right? It's so subtle, and we're going to get deep into it, but that's one of the things, right? So, for example, I talked about in my free Sasuke course how Sasuke was always driven. He was always driven. Well, one of the things Sasuke did was transmuting emotions. And one of the things he did was he had the thoughts and the image of his family getting massacred, right? Itachi killing his family. He had placed a perception on that event, on those thoughts, which is, I hated that, right? And I'm going to get revenge, which caused a vibrational state. Now, he took that vibrational state and used it to take action, right? So Sasuke was aware of the pain and the anger, that vibrational state in his body, right? But what he didn't do was just let it out without any conscious maneuvering, right? He didn't just let it out. So someone who has a lot of built up anger as a vibrational state, but is not mature about it, is just gonna let it out and just start going ham on people, right? They're gonna start cursing people out. They're gonna start not giving a fuck and just doing crazy things because they just don't care, right? They're gonna just start getting in arguments with people, right? They're just gonna be doing things without maturity. But Sasuke was like, okay, I have this vibrational state in my body, and I have to disperse it. Let me transmute it or direct it towards a goal. His goal was to kill Itachi. So he used his vibrational state and laser beamed it onto that goal. So all the action he was taking, right? Because in my Sasuke course, we talk about how Sasuke was constantly always moving towards his goal, always progressing towards his goal of killing Itachi, always obsessed with getting more power. And every time we saw him on screen, all he was doing was working out, right? Working towards his goal, working on his ninjutsu, or trying to somehow get more power, whether that was trying to find Orochimaru, eventually joining Orochimaru, joining Obito, starting Taka, whatever the case may be. He was always transmuting his emotions and directing it towards a specific goal. So that's what I mean about awareness and emotional drive. Transmuting emotions is taking a vibrational state and pushing it towards one single objective. And you have to be conscious of it in order to do that, right? And that's why we just talked about awareness, okay? Is this all making sense? Is this all coming together? And by the way, if you guys have any questions about any of this, please engage with me. We literally have our Discord group, our Hokage group in the Discord. If you have questions about transmuting emotions, about any other module in the course, about any video on this or anything in the Patreon, at me in the Discord and ask your question. I will reach out to you, or even you can ask it right here. I'm sure there's a chat underneath the video. All right. So awareness and emotional drive, right, shows maturity and development. Now, here's the big thing, right? If you don't master emotional alchemy, transmuting emotions, it puts you at a major disadvantage, right? And it just does. And the big example of this is Naruto. Now, I love Naruto, man, and I feel like I degrade Naruto's name too much, but it's because he's the perfect example of this. When Naruto, at least early on in the show, before Naruto became a boss, right? Because now he's a boss. Now he's an adult. You know, now he's gone through the pain, the suffering, and he's gone through hell and back, and he's a boss now. He's the greatest Hokage of all time, the greatest shinobi of all time. But before that, Naruto was a peon. Let's just cut the BS. Especially before Shippuden, even half of Shippuden, Naruto did not have control over his emotions. He did not take his vibrational state and direct it. Instead, he just let it loose. So Naruto is the perfect example, because what Naruto would do was, whenever he was in a situation where they were, about to fight somebody, or wherever he was dealing with the nine-tailed fox and all that chakra, whenever he finds himself in a situation that causes emotions to get built up in his body, he always just dispersed it without first taking any conscious choice as to, okay, how can I use this consciously and maturely, right? How can I use this to benefit me and everybody around me? So he would just show up to a situation, right? Like, remember when he's about to fight Orochimaru and Kabuto, right? And what happens is Orochimaru is like saying all these negative things, and Naruto gets extremely pissed off, and he allows the nine-tailed fox to just boom come out. All he had to do was control that chakra, right? And this is what Jiraiya mentored him for. Jiraiya saw that Naruto had no emotional alchemy, right? And Jiraiya was trying to train Naruto to be able to transmute his emotions. That's literally what Jiraiya was trying to train him to do, Or like those frogs. that were mentoring Naruto, right? They were trying to teach him how to transmute emotions because Naruto would show up in a situation, right? And people just knew, oh, well, this kid's retarded because I can literally just make him make bad decisions by just pissing him off. And that's what they would do. They would say, oh, they would say this, they would say that, and it would just piss Naruto off. And then he would just go crazy, he would just go berserk, right? And literally puts him and everybody else at a disadvantage. He's literally throwing his life in danger, throwing all his teammates' lives in danger, everybody around him, because he didn't have control over his emotions. And that's something that separated him from everybody, almost everybody else in the show, especially Sasuke, especially Itachi. Don't be like that. Don't be that version of Naruto. Be the Hokage version of Naruto, the one that has control of the emotions, right? So, like I said, well, that's besides the point. I digress. Listen, if you use it properly, it will scare your opponents, right? Because most people aren't as bad as Naruto, but most people aren't as good as Itachi or Sasuke at transmuting emotions. So most people can't really control their emotions laser beamed, right? So if somebody's deliberately trying to piss you off, but you can control your emotions and transmute them, it's gonna scare the hell out of them. It's powerful, bro. It's powerful, both with guys and girls. In a girl context, if girls are trying to, in the red pill community, they call it giving a shit test, right? If girls are trying to make you angry or trying to shit test you and see like if they can catch you off guard or throw you off your feet, and you maintain your frame, which takes emotional alchemy, right? It's powerful. They're gonna get turned on. If guys are constantly trying to throw you off your guard, trying to make you look like a wimp, trying to say things to stir you up, trying to get your emotions rise up, it's okay. Let the emotions come up. I'm not saying suppress them. I'm saying transmute them. And that's something that's the tweak right there that a lot of guys are missing, because a lot of guys here, oh, well, to pass a girl shit test or to come off as an alpha male guy, I need to suppress the emotions when they come up. No, you don't suppress them. You transmute them, right? And I'll let you guys decide how you want to transmute your emotions, but don't suppress them, right? Transmute them. Figure out a way to take those emotions that are happening in your stomach and direct it towards doing something else rather than just reacting to somebody. So, for example, and I'm not, no, fuck it. I am telling you how to use it, right? So for example, if a guy is trying to piss you off and you want to get revenge, right? He's saying some dirty things. He's saying some things that just make you angry and you have to get revenge. Let's say he says something about your mom, right? What most guys would do in that situation off rip is they would let those emotions build up and they would express it immediately, but unmaturely, right? So they'll try to fight the guy right then and there and get themselves in a terrible situation where they're getting arrested or they get kicked out of school, something like that. Transmute those emotions. So instead of just expressing it immediately, let those emotions build up. Let the emotions of I got to get revenge build up, and then transmute it towards something else, like getting revenge in the future. Use those emotions and think about a specific action you could take an hour from now, 10 days from now, a month from now, that will get you revenge on this specific person. But right? So you're still getting revenge, but you're not going to make yourself look like an imbecile in that specific moment. You're not going to react the way he wants you to. You're not going to allow him to cause you to give a reaction, right? But you're still going to get your revenge. You're just using that emotion. You're tweaking that emotional vibrational state for a future goal, right? So you're still going to get the same objective, but you're still going to come off as an alpha, right? You're not going to allow emotions to control you, okay? And as you see in the last point, it just becomes a superpower. At that point, it's a superpower because now no one can get a reaction out of you. You control your emotions and you still get everything you want, right? Because you're transmuting it. You're not suppressing, you're transmuting it for a future objective. Okay, so let me know if that makes sense or not. Ask any questions in our Discord chat. Now, here comes the powerful part, the how to. How, MK Brad, do we actually practically practice this? I'm glad you asked. All right. So one, we talked about awareness, which is basically just training your Sharingan. You first gotta become aware that where emotions come from, how do they exist, why do we have emotions? You first gotta become aware of your emotions in the first place, or none of this is gonna even become powerful. All right, so the first exercise is emotional awareness, and I call this mentally marking. Now, please, please pay attention. Pay attention. Exercise one, mentally marking. So mentally marking is whenever you find yourself feeling an emotion on a high level. So let's say you're extremely pissed off, or let's say you're extremely happy. Let's say you're laughing, right? You're with your friends, you're joking around. Someone shoots out a crazy joke, you start laughing heavily, right? Or let's say you're extremely sad, right? Something bad happened in your life and you're kind of just sad. You're like, why me? You're in despair. Any emotion that's very intense, what you got to do is mark it, mentally mark it. So, for example, let's say someone comes up and they punch you in the face, right? That's going to cause a very intense emotion out of you. This is what you do. This is exercise number one, mentally marking. When that emotion happens, when that vibrational state intensifies, mark it. So, what do I mean by marking it? When it happens, when you're feeling that emotion, you're going to become mentally aware of that vibration. Now, I gotta use the right words. I gotta make this you're not just becoming aware of the emotion, you're becoming aware of the vibration itself. Like, so literally, as it's happening, so let's say you're feeling extreme anger and pissed off right now, mentally mark where it's located in your body. Mentally mark where it's literally located in your body. Mark the actual sensation itself. Okay? Mark the sensation itself. Where is it located in your body? What vibration is happening? It's very subtle. It's very subtle, but you'll get it over time and it'll become more powerful over time. Okay? So for example, once again, you're chilling with your buddies, someone cracks a joke and you start dying. You're just laughing, right? Hysterically laughing. Boom, wake up, intense emotion, become aware of the emotion of laughter and mentally mark it. The emotion of laughter, where is that situated in your body? Is it like in your upper chest? Is it in your middle chest? Is it deep in your belly? Right? And become aware of the sensation. Is there like a tingling? Is there a circulation? Is it like a wavering? Or is it like a tidal wave like this? Right? Become aware of the vibration itself and mark it. Mark it in your mind's eye. Okay? So that you can start practicing exercise 2, which is stirring it up, emotional alchemy itself, right? So what is this? Whenever you want to feel a specific emotion, you can literally stir it up because you've mentally marked the exact sensation. So if you know exactly what it feels like, right, the exact sensations, the exact location of your body of anger, if you know exactly what it feels like to have anger as a vibrational state, and you've marked it in your body, in your mind's eye, then you can stir it back up on command. So let's say you're feeling lazy today. You don't want to go to the gym. You can literally take 10 seconds and take, just like Sasuke did, the emotion of anger, drive, and stir that vibration in your body because you know exactly what it feels like. This is very, very, very subtle behavior. And it takes deep awareness to do this, but everybody can do it. It's not that hard. The hard part is actually training yourself to wake up and mentally mark it when you're feeling these emotions. Because once again, 90% of the time, your emotions are subconscious. So you got to train yourself, like it says on the screen, through repetition to mentally mark every single emotion. So literally today, as you're going throughout your day, mentally mark emotions. When something intense happens vibrationally in your body, whether it's anger, whether it's joy, whether it's somberness, whether it's disdain, whether it's ambition and drive, like deep focus towards something, whether it's passion, whether it's love, whether it's a deep desire for truth or desire for anything, When that vibrational state is happening in your body, become aware of that vibrational state and mark it. Where is it located in my body? What does it feel like in my body? And then in the future, whenever you want to feel that vibrational state in any context, right? So let's say you want to go talk to a girl, but you don't have the vibrational state of confidence. You can literally stir it up. Literally. This is not woo. This is literally objective science. You just stir it up. You think about a sensation, about the last time you felt that sensation. You think about the last time you felt that sensation, and you know the sensation itself, and you know its location in your body. So you place your attention on those two things: that sensation, the last time you felt it, and its location in your body, and boom, just like magic, it comes back. You're a god now. You can feel any emotion on command. Let's say you find yourself in a situation where someone's trying to get a reaction out of you and they're causing you to feel anger. And you're like, well, okay, I don't want to feel this emotion because it's just going to make me, look like a loser simp because I'm just reacting to another guy. I want to come out of this looking like an alpha. You can literally shift your emotions with emotional alchemy. You wake up, boom, turn on your awareness, turn on your Sharingan. Okay, I want to feel the emotion of alpha. Think about the last time you felt alpha because you mentally marked it, right? You marked it in your mind's eye. You place your attention on the location in your body where the last time that you felt that emotion, where it was located, and the exact sensation, and now it's back, and boom. This guy's like, why? I'm trying to get an emotional reaction out of him. Why is he happy? Why is he laughing? I just told him his mom was fat. Why is he laughing? It's because you're an emotional alchemist. Yeah. This is some powerful stuff. I don't know if you see it yet. We're going to take another video. We're going to do another video of this, maybe a part 2. But for now on, practice those 2 exercises and ask me questions because I know you're going to have questions about this. Ask me questions. I will reach out to you. Emotional alchemy, transmuting emotion. I'll see you guys in the next module. Peace.